Hello, 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 good people. Hello, good people. I am Dr. Hollie Kelly, and this is Dr. Kelly's Perspective for Friday. We have almost closed out the first week of October, Friday, October 6th, 2017. In a different location, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the internet connectivity, and that's been stopping me mid-sentence the last couple of days or so. Anyway, I wanted to bring to you something that as soon as it came out of my mouth just yesterday, good morning, Eric. As soon as it came out of my mouth yesterday and I realized I had blown it, I said, okay, this has to be the perspective. Good morning, Ronnie. Good morning, all who are joining me. So listen, I am a very conscious learner. When I see something, an area in my life that needs to be improved, needs to be strengthened, I try to make a conscious effort to, hey, let's just get started with Hollie, get practicing. So I know that I can be very quick to come up to it, arrive at a conclusion. And sometimes it is not always the right conclusion, but I'm quick. So speed is not necessarily, unless you're on the NASCAR racetrack, speed is not necessarily always the best answer. Hey, Tanya. So let me get more specific. I know that, like I said, I have a tendency to make some quick decisions and jump to some conclusions. And I had said I was going to, and I have been practicing this new theory to, okay, Hollie, before you make a decision, just stop, push pause on what's getting ready to come out your mouth. Push pause, breathe, think it through. Is what you're thinking reality? Check yourself before you wreck yourself. So push pause on it. And then the second step is to challenge myself, challenge my thoughts. Okay, is this the only alternative? What you're thinking right now in your mind, is it the only alternative? And then third, to choose the best course of action. Because if I base my life, breathe into it. If I base my life off of principles and values and not emotions and how I'm feeling about something, then choose the best course of action. When people, when I'm working with people or just talking to people and they are really going through a very emotional period of time, I try to remind them, don't make any decisions right now other than what you're going to put on in the morning. Don't be trying to make any deep decisions because your emotions are out of whack. And in order to make the best decisions, you have to have clarity. You have to be able to think clearly before you can make a decision on anything important. So push pause, challenge your thinking, and then challenge the accuracy of your thoughts. Are there any other alternatives to that? Good morning, Shima. And then make the best choice based on your values, based on your principles, not emotions. Hey, Jean. Okay, so here's my specific example. Now, I've been practicing this. I've been thinking through. I've made little cards about it. And then yesterday was the real deal to practice it out. And I blew it. I blew it, which is why I said today this perspective is named repetition, because you can absolutely pause, challenge, and choose or think. Thank you, Ari. So here's the deal. You can read up on something. That's why book knowledge does not necessarily impress me. If you can't live anything out, if you can't walk it out, I'm not impressed by those who can spout off, academic theories and everything. Can you live anything out? Is that a practical theory to make life better, more effective, more efficient? So here was my scenario. One of my employees brought a situation to me, and the way it was presented, okay, that's already going wrong. You can tell that's already going wrong. But the way it was presented to me was that they were being told to keep a secret, in essence. And it was a senior level person who was telling them to keep a secret. Okay, so when you're in in a hierarchical situation, and you have a senior person telling a junior person to keep a secret, you know, a lot of times you're just like, okay, even if you know in your gut that that's wrong. So I went to a more senior person and said, and this is what's happening, and you don't put my person in this situation, and that's, you know, piss poor leadership. How dare you do that? Okay, I went there. Immediately, I'd already blown my little theory. I didn't stop. I definitely didn't challenge my thoughts. I could have challenged my thoughts to say, okay, look, is there another way of thinking? Perhaps this is the reality, and you didn't even think about that. Or what about this? Maybe you didn't know about that part. I didn't do any of that. Just went out the window, and I immediately went into react mode, talking about responding versus reaction. Okay, and so when I went to the more senior person, they said, well, listen, is this a possibility? Perhaps it's the possibility that this happened. Knowing already that it was the reality. But they let me mold around in it for a minute, knowing that that was already what had happened. And immediately I said, you know, I went into this little diatribe. I said, I have been working on me. I've been working on me not reacting immediately. Certain situations are hot buttons for us. Again, anything that we value, it will raise us to a level 10 quicker than, you know, just ordinary things. And watching over and protecting and serving as advocate for those that I work with is a value to me. So I immediately went where I talked about not going. And the whole point behind this is, I am an intentional learner. I intentionally have been reading and thinking and processing my little 3 steps. Okay, slow your roll, Holly. Challenge that thought that is going through your mind right now. Maybe that person that walked by you and didn't speak really isn't out to get you. For example, you know, we walk past people and they don't speak, and we gave our biggest and brightest, hey girl, how you doing? And they don't speak, and immediately sometimes we can go to, well, what is wrong with her? And I know she's not still mad at me from the last time, and okay, and we can take off without challenging that. Hey, maybe she was engrossed in something. Maybe her family pet just died and she's mourning. Maybe she is preparing for a presentation that she's got in the next 10 minutes in her mind. Okay, so there are always alternatives. There are always alternatives that need to be challenged. Challenge our thinking. Now I'm gonna walk my way through with this with you, because the next time this happens, I want to do better. And that's where the title comes in, repetition. So if we have to actually practice and repeat and fall and slip and dip and get back up and repeat, if we have to do that in order to change and challenge ourselves to become a better person, become a better thinker, to become one who uses wider perspectives and enlarges our perspective on things, if we have to intentionally do that, it's gonna take practice and repetition, especially if it has been your nature for years to go from 0 to 10 in a millisecond. If you want to begin dialing that back, you got to have a plan. If all you're going to do is say, no, I'm just not going to do that anymore, you're setting yourself up for failure. So I had a plan. I did have a plan. I was supposed to stop, slow my roll, challenge myself, force myself to come up with a possible alternative. That was a real possibility. And then I was supposed to choose the best alternative and make the best decision based off of my values, based off my principles. And I just blew that out the water. So I had to laugh at myself. And when I was talking to the senior person, you know, I was telling him, okay, thank you for checking me. You didn't even know you checked me, but you just did. And I appreciate that. So when you are trying to get better and do better, it's got to be more than some of you read. You got to actually get out there and practice that thing. You have to actually put it into action and see if it holds up. And not just, aha, this didn't even work. No, it's repetition and repetition and repetition and repetition. So, you know, if at first you do not succeed, don't give up. On our way to becoming the best version of ourselves, to becoming a more thoughtful leader, a more strategic thinker, a better decision maker, you have to operate from a place of clarity and not emotion, especially not emotion that is already at a level 10 for you. Okay, so I figured I'd tell on myself and share my blow it, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to bring to you the next time I am in a situation and I successfully stop, challenge those thoughts, and then choose a better course of action. Okay, I hope you are challenging yourselves as well, and just repeat it. You know, if you've been living on this earth a few decades, those are ingrained thoughts and actions and reactions. So it takes a minute to shift. It takes a minute to shift. So just repeat it and don't give up. Okay, thanks for joining me. And if you need to reach out and contact me, you can always do so at drholliekelly.com. drholliekelly.com. Until then, take real good care of yourselves.